I think as societies looking at the next 5-10 years of the future, there are some possibly big, hairy, scary changes coming down the road. So with this group of sort of recruitment and professional development experts, my question to you guys would be, how does an organisation like a society support their change agents and make a culture where it fits the organisation so that it's ready to embrace the change? What does an organisation need to do, people-wise, when it looks out forwards and goes, wow, we need to change?
I think the first thing is that you need to create space in an organisation for people to learn and to talk and to interact. I'm in an organisation at the moment which I sort of describe as an overstuffed washing machine. You know, there's so much stuff crammed into the business of this organisation. They're so busy being busy, there's no room for anything else. So if you put a load of stuff in a washing machine, you don't allow any room for the water, it's going to come out the same state it went in. I've tried that, explained that to my son, the rugby kit, but we're not getting anywhere. But actually, organisationally, it's a really useful analogy. Because actually, people need to find time to do that coaching stuff and find time to develop new leaders and to develop ideas and give people the opportunity to be creative. Because actually, that doesn't happen if everybody's so busy being busy and they're spending all their time in useless meetings. They're better off having conversations and getting something done. So I think creating space and time and allowing people to experiment is the key to future success.
I think it's about having clarity about exactly what the change is that you're trying to achieve. So making sure that with your board or your council, your trustees and your membership that you've agreed that, that you can then portray that and involve your staff, and then making sure that the line managers are completely involved in that as well. Having a direction of travel is hugely important, rather than, as you say, we're just shoving more stuff into the organisation. Then you can look at trade-offs as well. So what is it that's keeping us busy? What's adding the value to the members? And what can we remove that actually allows us to move this forwards? As a professional body at the moment, we're going through a lot of change. So implementing a new system, a new chief executive, looking at digitalising our offering, you know, because of how easy it is to access information now, and pushing that all together onto an already busy staff can be quite dangerous if not done in the right way, in a collaborative way.
I think for me it goes back to your visions and values. I think whatever you're trying to do, as long as they align to the vision and the values and you're clear and your people understand what they are and you're behaviourally doing it for the right thing, then that all comes. But it's when people don't understand your visions and values, then that's when the problems happen. So it goes back to, as a leader, do your people understand what the vision is of the society, the organisation, the company, whatever you want it to be? Are there some values underneath it, and are they aligned to those values? And then I would challenge those people to come up with their own, what am I personally going to do to help achieve those values, so they feel they're bought into that journey.
Rather than hog the whole panel discussion myself. Other people might have things to say or contribute or ask.
Hi there, I'm Susie Astbury from Inspired. I am a recruiter and a member of the REC. I think the only one here today, so there you go. My question is actually something completely different. It's just one of the trends that's sort of amongst us all at the moment, and that's the need, it's more on the retention side of staff rather than recruitment, about the sort of increased wanting for flexible working and working from home. And I think it's a very big piece of the retention side and how that affects, you know, the sort of inner workings of an organisation. I'm suffering from it myself as well in our organisation. I just wondered what your thoughts were on working from home. Where do you draw the line? You know, do we all become remote and things like that? So just interested to know your thoughts.
I guess for someone that works from home on a regular basis, I feel sorry for some people, because it's one of those, you never please everybody. You know, you've got people that love it and value it and really get the benefit from it. I mean, I love the fact if I work from home, I can sometimes do the school run, or I could do something, and it's really good for me. I wouldn't want to do it all the time. I think that you've got other people that like to be in that environment, so you kind of never please everybody. And I think it goes back to what the driver is behind it. Is it because you want to do it for your people and be flexible to them, or is it because actually what you're trying to do is reduce your costs about not having as many offices in London, and you're reducing your footprint, so you're making your staff do it? I guess you need to understand what that driver behind it is, but if you can make it work for you, then I'm a big advocate of it. But I know other people that I work with that absolutely hate it.
I think there's something about balance in here for me, and it's about putting the business first. I looked in somebody's diary the other day in the organisation I'm in, and it got, I'm working from home, not available for emails, not available for calls, not available to take a response. I thought, actually, that's not working from home, that's leave. So it's about setting your parameters and working out what's best for that business, and there will be some flexibility. There will be people who can't work flexibly, and it's about offering a kind of a variety of options for people, but recognising that actually flexibility goes both ways. And I think we must be very careful about how it's presented, how it's managed, and it's about also trusting people. But people then need to earn that trust. So there's some thorny issues in around flexibility. I'm all for it. I think it's great, but I think it's about the kind of rules that you put around it. And I've seen some rules that are totally inflexible, but actually having the opportunity to have adult conversations about what's right for you and what that means is important.
And for me, again, it goes back to it depends on the role. Can they do that role from home? How does that impact the rest of the organisation? The fact is that individuals can make a flexible working request now. You have to have very good reasons as to why you would deny that application. But in terms of informal, I work from home on a semi-regular basis. You know, do you have the systems in place to allow that as well? I would say if you're not willing to let your staff work from home, it's ask yourself why. Is it about the systems? Is it about the customer? Or is it about trust? And if it's about trust, then that's what you have to deal with. Because if you can't trust your staff, then there's a whole bigger issue at play there.
Thank you. Oh, there's a last question at the back, and then we will go and break.
Thank you. It's Sarah Oates from Wiley. I was just wondering, sort of tying in with the session earlier on membership and the session now on recruitment, and whether any of the panel have any case studies or examples of how societies might grow their membership by identifying skills gaps in the careers market through working with sort of recruitment consultants. So what a lot of companies say now is that the people that are coming out of university don't have the skills they need. Societies need new members, and whether societies and associations could fill that gap by working with you.
So is that in terms of skills for societies or skills for our members?
So skills in the workplace, so people coming out of university don't have the skills that they need in order to go on to do the jobs that are needed. And so a society's role could be to work in tandem with recruitment organisations to identify what those skills gaps are. That would give societies new members, it would give recruiters new, better skilled employees, and so it would be a win-win for both.
Yes, definitely. It's a huge, so our policy team work closely with government, work closely with, starting to work more closely with schools and with universities about sending recruiters into a university or a school to give talks about not necessarily just working in recruitment, but actually in wider careers and what that can mean. So if anybody in the room has a particular interest in that, I can certainly put them in contact with our policy team, because that's a big strand of what we're doing in terms of future skills. You know, the world of work and access to skills is changing hugely. You know, just a small example, but one that I find really interesting, is when my son left primary school to start senior school, the school actually gave us a picture and had each individual child, and it said in the middle, "When I grow up, I want to be," and they were all holding a plaque or a slate, if you like, and it had a job title on, and I counted, because I'm sad like this, I counted the job roles. And the most common job was a YouTuber. Years ago, there was no YouTube. So now we've got a year of children who that's the most common. So yes, it's important that we continue to do this. I think it's, these I would say membership organisations, I think we should see that as a big role that we play.
And I think actually in terms of the way our society is going, particularly when I think about the work with local authorities, we rely more and more on volunteers and on partnering. And actually you look at youngsters coming out of university and what they actually desperately need is work experience. So I think you're ideally placed to offer those, but I think they need to be structured placements with clear outcomes and some kind of benefit which is sold. And again, it's back to your branding and how you put that out. But I know we've got 9,000 volunteers in one section in the county I'm in at the moment. And actually they're doing tremendous work and we wouldn't survive without them. So I think there's an opportunity there for those kind of partnerships which will help take people forward.
I guess just from me, just on that, I agree with what others have said. I think the only thing is make it relevant so that, you know, skills and future skills is a huge issue for us. So actually make it relevant to, you know, the area, so you get some people try and chase everything. So as long as you can hone in and say, actually, this is what we can offer as a society to that, then you'll have a lot better outcome.
Go on then, Steve.
I just wanted to add one more thing around the bias discussion that we've had throughout this particular session. And actually, sometimes it can sound difficult to change things, but actually you can do really simple things. And particularly if you're working with a recruitment partner, I would say don't be scared to demand diverse shortlists. Don't be scared to throw back undiverse shortlists. Don't be scared to ask for name-blind CVs, university-blind CVs. They can take that work away, or if you've got an internal HR department, put those things into place as well.
Right, we need to wrap up now because some of you will have rumbling stomachs and it is in fact lunchtime. I believe all of our panel are going to be here at lunchtime. Please do bring them any questions or discussions that you didn't get a chance to air. And thank you very much for your attention, and we'll see you back after lunch.